So we've just managed to turn on this admin link in the navigation here by virtue of modifying the response from the login process. We actually got the client to believe that we were indeed an admin, and as a result, it's shown us this menu. As I just mentioned in the previous clip, this alone isn't a problem. The real test is what happens when we click the admin link. We can see a request being made, and we can see a rather serious problem. So here we have another problem of authorization domains getting all mixed up. What we've got here is a complete list of users and credentials, and inevitably it's due to that last request that we see on the left side of the screen, request number 226. In fact, we can see that that's a request made to API/admin/users. We've seen that API come up a couple of times earlier on in this module, and in fact we saw the robots.txt file disclosing it. We know that this API contains sensitive data that we don't want to show to the public. And of course, all of this boils down to us circumventing a client authorization control. That client control was the one that decided whether or not to show the admin link. But that domain needs to be independently verified to the domain that is the server. And when I say domain, we're really just talking about two autonomous components of the application. Yes, they communicate between each other, but as we now know, that communication can be modified. One of them cannot trust the other one. The server, the API, cannot trust the client that it's actually showing that API link to someone that is properly authenticated as an admin. It's an extension of that example I gave earlier on about the airline that was sending credentials to the client. They trusted that there was a control on the client that had to be enabled via the appropriate authentication and authorization, and that was the only way to show the Wi-Fi passwords. They neglected the fact that traffic can be intercepted, observed, and manipulated. And that's exactly the same problem that we've got here. So the message to leave you with as we wrap up on the client versus server authorization piece is to again always independently validate on each end. The client can be compromised, the traffic can be compromised. The server has to do its authorization independently with the expectation that the client is always compromised.